Hey guys, it's the Techie TVI here. Today we're going to look at an app for an iPad called Notability. And you'll see I have it pinned down to my frequently used apps. It is the blue square with a pencil, and it looks like it has a microphone on the end of it. I do use this personally for school. I started using it when I was working on my EDS, and I've used it consistently through that program and still now while I'm working on my doctorate. Alright, so now that we have our app open, you see all notes, record notes, untitled notes, and then you see the ones I've created: TVI, work, dissertation, UC. Those are called sections. And the sections, subjects are like notebooks. So I'm going to create a new one and call it Techie TVI. And that will be just like I went on a shelf and pulled a notebook that I have titled Techie TVI. And then you have dividers, which you can see under TVI. I'm creating one called Tutorials, but I want it to go under Techie TVI. So I'm going to click and drag it down under Techie TVI, and that is just like me putting in tabs in a notebook. So if I go to my notebook and I want to see a certain student or a certain section, a certain file, I can quickly go to that tab, and that's what the dividers are for. So now I'm going to show you starting a blank document, and we do that by up on the top right there is a square with a pencil in it, and it's on the very top right. So I'm going to click on that, and I'll show you some of the settings and things that you can change on it. So you can see that I start with just lined paper, and you can change that setting, which I'll show you shortly. And you can change the title where it says Note August 24th, 2019. You can change what that says to a student's name, or whatever you need to change it to. So to start off, up at the top you see all the sections. First of all, you can type if you want, using a keyboard or the on-screen keyboard. Then you have a pencil, and like I said, I am using an Apple Pencil to write on this iPad Pro. And you can highlight, you can erase, and it does erase one stroke at a time. And then the scissors allow you to select handwriting or part of an image and cut it, or you can also change handwriting to typeface. And then the finger is just so that you can use the pencil to navigate, or if you're using your finger or a stylus to move around. And next, I'm going to show you the options for a pencil. So if you tap on the pencil or the highlighter again, you can change the size of the pencil and the color. Next, we're going to look at things that we can add to our notes. So if you tap on the plus, you can see I can add a photo, take a photo, a GIF, a web clip, or a sticky. And sticky is just like a sticky note. You can select which one you want, add it, put it where you want on the paper, and use it if you're taking data on a student. And you see here just a couple of different changes, and you can see I'm moving it around the page, and then you just tap it again and hit delete when you're ready to change it. I can add a photo. I take a photo. I use that whenever I am in a professional development situation, or I will also use that when I'm at a conference and the presenter is going really fast. I will take a picture of the slides. So I'm just going to add a picture, and you can put it on there, and you can write over the picture. You can move it wherever you want to, resize it to whatever size you want. And I should note that I am zoomed out on that page, so when I zoom in, if I'm going to write on those lines, the picture will also zoom in. And you can see I wrote rabbit on there. So it's really helpful, especially if you're labeling something on a photo, or if you're trying to label parts of a sale or something like that. If the students were going to use it, they can write directly on the image. And let's see. Oh, that's the options for the eraser, how big you want it, what you want it to do. Again, there's the highlighter. You can use all of that on the photo. And the pencil options again. And like I said, you can change the colors. I am doing the voiceover on this a couple days after I recorded it, and I'm like, why am I spending so long on some of this? So if it looks kind of choppy, that's why. There's adding text to a photo. I'm just showing you all the things that you can do even when you add a photo. And then you tap it again and you can delete it, just like with the sticky. So next we're going to look at the paper options. So like I said, I have it where the lines are small, because when I write notes, even though I write notes really big, I want to zoom in so that, like I'm doing now, so I can write as big as I want. And then when I zoom out, which I'll show you in just a second, it looks like a normal piece of paper, or an average piece of paper, and I can easily visually access my notes. But when I show this to my students, they can zoom in, write as big as they need to, zoom it out, print it, and it looks just like a I keep saying normal, but an average piece of paper. It's not a bold line paper, but they can zoom in and write on the paper just like it were in a notebook. And when they print it off, they can print it with the lines and turn it into the teacher. So, and whenever I was using this with a student last year, she loved that feature. The only downside to this, which I want to email them about, is that you can't change the color of the lines. And here what I'm doing is I'm highlighting or selecting my handwriting with the scissors, and then I'm going to tap it and hit convert to text. It shows you a preview. It says the same thing that I wrote in my terrible handwriting, and I'm going to accept it. And then you can adjust where it is. But that's just one feature of it. If you wanted to use it for your professional notes, to write notes while you're doing a functional vision and then change it, you can change the color background of the paper. You can change the width of the lines, so when it's zoomed out, how thick the distance is between the lines. Different grid paper, and then dotted paper for journaling or whatever you or the student wanted to do. You can make it as fancy or as plain as you want it. I usually, for me, I just do the white background, but you could, if you needed to change for accessibility for yourself or the student, change the colored background. For example, there's blue, and then I'm showing you it with the yellow pencil. And you can, like I said, change the thickness of the pen. Unfortunately, you can't select a special color that you want for the pencil or for the paper. You only have those options that I showed you. So that is a limiting feature of it. But I still wanted to show it to you because it can be very helpful in keeping you organized and limiting how much stuff that you're carrying. So you see here, those are the only options that you have for the color of paper and the width of the lines. And again, I hope that as they update the app, they will change that. But who knows? I may have to email them and ask for that feature.
No, that's not. I'm not saying, I promise you I'm not winding up.
Again, here I have zoomed out so that that's what, if you zoom to page width, what it would look like. Again, there's the media that you can add. The wrench is the settings.
Hopefully they'll settle down.
Here I am going to my Google Drive, and I am going to go to my consultation checklist because I want to use it on my iPad. Instead of having one paper for every student, I'm going to use it on my iPad. So here it's pulled it up, and I'm going to hit the three dots, and down toward the bottom, or in the middle, I'm sorry, it says open in. So I will hit open in and select Notability. So again, three dots and open in. And when I select Notability, you see it pops up that says sent to Notability. You hit done. Go back to Notability. And it will ask you where you want to import the document to. And you see on the bottom right, it says tutorials. And that's the divider that I want that particular document to go into. Once I select that and it uploads it, I hit open and it brings it up. So this is the consultation checklist that I have on the store, and the coupon code is free. So here I'm going to change the name of the checklist to a certain student. So this is going to be Tommy's consultation checklist, or consult checklist. The titles are for you. However, it's going to be easy for you to know what you're looking at. And you just write the student's name at the top. Because if you were to print this out, which I do at the end of every year, their name will be on the top. I'll write their school and then the school year. And this helps me by looking at a quick glance know that I or my assistant have seen that student the appropriate amount of time set by the IEP. And pardon my Riverdale reference. It was the first school that I could think of that wasn't a real school. So you see the months at the top, across the top of the columns, and down the left side on the rows are the different types of consultation. And I just noticed the other day that I have worked with student on goals. But when you download this from the store, you can change those. So here I'm showing you, let's say on the 8th, I talked to the teacher. On the 12th, I ordered materials. On the 22nd, I had an IEP meeting. On the 8th, I delivered materials. And some of these, it's pretty straightforward. So ordered materials, I can use my other documentation to tell me what I ordered for them. And if I need to make notes on that second page, there is the option for notes for each month. So quick anecdotal notes, maybe that you had an in-service, or you talked to the PE teacher about ways to adapt a certain activity. Whatever you need to take notes on. But it is meant to be a short, sweet, quick, knowing what you've done, where you've been, or keeping track of those consultation hours. I don't put the time down because obviously my in-service, it took an hour and a half. And for example, this adapted literacy worksheet, that can take however long depending on the teacher's worksheet. And you see this bottom row, it should be on the previous page, but for some reason when I use Google Docs, it always bumps that down, so I apologize for that. I should say that when you print this off, you can change that, or whenever you pull it up on your computer in Microsoft Word or whatever it is that you use, you can adjust that and make it to where you have all those like checkbox style boxes on one page and the notes on the second page. That's what I do. Okay, so now we're going to look at it and say it's the end of the year. I have all this filled in and I want to print it out and put it in my notebook. So I'm going to go at the top, there's a square with a triangle, and go down to print. You can fix the paper margin, make it look like paper with the lines on it if you want to. You can turn that on or off. And then you can select your printer. I don't have any wireless at home. Well, it's not on anyway. I can change the number of copies, select the different pages that I want, and then once I'm finished with selecting the options that I want, I can send that to the printer. Up at the top right, you can see the option is grayed out. So now I only have a front and back copy versus a continual handwriting of notes and multiple pages in my student notebooks. Next, I want to show you how to copy your original. So what I'm going to do is go back to the notebook section or notebook style section, and you can see I have the note that I took, and then I have Tommy's consult log. I'm going to go ahead and swipe to the left and delete that. I'm sorry, I have a pet that wants to play with me right now while I'm trying to do this. So I'm going to delete all this, or erase all of this notes, or these notes, and then I'm going to tap on Tommy's consult log and hit duplicate. All that does is copy it. Then I can go in and change it to the different student's name. So I can have multiple students in there. And I could change the name of the section to consult logs, and then go in there at the end of the day, or however often you want to do something like that. I try to do it every day so I don't forget, and keep track of that. And I would have it all in one place, and in versus having to carry around a folder or multiple folders to keep my student data sheets, to keep my consult logs, all those things, I can keep it right on my iPad. So that is how one tutorial on how to use Notability, and kind of on how to use the consult log. Again, the consult log is in the store on the website, and the coupon code free will get it to you for free. I hope you guys are enjoying the tutorials. I'm new at the whole voiceover thing, so I'm hoping as my skills get better, the videos get better. But I really enjoy doing these for you guys, and I really hope they're beneficial. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I hope it wasn't too terrible. I hope you were able to learn something new, and that it was beneficial for you and or your students. I hope you guys have a great night, day, whatever it is, wherever you are, and I will see you at the next tutorial.